right, Brad, how you doing?
Good. Cliff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for meeting with me again.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what we're going to do today. Before I came out today, I took a look at your business and how customers are seeing your business when they're looking for it. Kind of did an analysis as far as how they're looking, what they're seeing when they're out there. So I wanted to kind of walk you through that so you kind of had an idea of how your customers were seeing you, and then maybe give you some ideas on how we can kind of improve your performance as far as the results overall out there.
Yeah, I always like better results.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, today is going to be, about you and basically, kind of like I said, trying to understand your customers, your needs, and also your capacity to grow as a business. Obviously, I know you're telling me you're always looking for more business.
Yep.
Seeing how we can help with that. And as we're kind of walking through and looking at these different examples and how your customers are seeing, I want you to kind of keep a few of these questions in mind. So that we can kind of evaluate how that's working. Okay.
Okay.
So kind of look at how are your customers finding you when they're looking? What is important to them when they are looking out there? How are you available in all the places that they're looking? And then also, how is that compared to what your competitors are doing? How are they seeing you with your competitors out there? Is it easy to do business with you? Are you a trustworthy place to do business with? And also looking at the places that your customers are able to find you. So as we're kind of going through and looking at these different examples, kind of keep those questions in mind, okay?
Okay.
And as we're looking through, we're going to kind of walk through your website and how it looks out there to the customers, how the search engines look at your website, which is kind of the SEO, the search engine optimization side, how they see your website and how that relates. Your Dexnos profile page. Real important, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit as far as why that's real important. Your online visibility, how people see you out there online, and of course the information you have with us and the print phone book. Okay.
Can't forget that.
Sure, absolutely. I know it's been real important to your business over the years.
Yes.
So we'll make sure we touch on that. Before we get started on going overall on your message, I wanted to clarify a couple things overall on your business, and then we kind of touch on it each year as far as some of the important features. What so far this year? I know it varies from year to year, but what are some of the things that have been working well for you?
Well, within the tree business, I guess one thing that isn't working, we haven't had any big storms.
Sure.
This winter, with the bad weather helped a little, but we've been keeping busy. I think with the economy picking up, that's helped a lot. Stuff that people try to do themselves or get a cheaper company to do, they're willing to spend a little bit more money to make it look right, get it done right, not get sued, which somebody's not insured. So we've been busy and pretty happy. Good.
I know last year you kind of started doing more roofing projects. Is that trend continuing for you?
Yeah, we doing a ton of residential. The commercial still, we're not really set up to do commercial, but we can do light commercial. We don't do the rubber roofs and the flat roofs.
Sure.
But the residential is what we really specialize in. The same way, just like with our tree business, the storms.
Sure, that emergency service.
Yeah, where they just tear up the roofs. Yeah,
sure.
We haven't had one of those in a while, but again, the bad weather.
Okay.
For sure.
Now you had before you had 3 crews. Is that still the case this year?
Yeah, we try to keep 3. We've lost a couple guys, picked up a couple guys, lost them, but yeah, I would say 3 crews. Most of this year.
Okay. Now, with your 3 crews, do you keep them, pretty busy each day, or is it,
Obviously, it's seasonal.
Uh-huh.
We don't even, we lay them off usually December 1st, depending on the weather. Sometimes we've gone to Christmas, never then. But January, it's usually December, January, February, and we work them hard through the summer. So,
Sure.
they stockpile a little cash and then do whatever they do. Some of them, go out of town.
Sure.
But yeah, we're keeping them busy.
Okay. During the peak season, with the 3 crews in an average week, about how many jobs does a crew get done?
Well, there's some repairs in there which are just kind of a pain, but sometimes lead to tear-offs and bigger jobs. We're doing 1 or 2 repairs a day, and those are small.
Okay.
$150 to $450 jobs.
Sure.
And we try to complete a residential job every day.
For each crew?
No, just one total.
Just one total?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, one. We try to get a job done every day. So it doesn't always work out that way. Like Monday we may not get any, 3
Sure.
on Tuesday. But
Sure.
yeah, if we can get, 5 to 7 residential jobs a week, that's pretty much what we've been doing.
Okay. Now, with that same existing crew, can you do more roofs within a given week? 5 to 7 is where you want to be. If you had 10 jobs, could you get to 10 jobs with the 3 crew?
If we could get people to wait a little, and it's not, days from starting to finish, not weeks or months. I think not every week, but most weeks, we could do 10.
Most weeks.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you said the repairs are $150 to $450
Yeah.
average new roof. Where's that at? Where I know it's going to vary quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a huge, there's a price per square. Everybody's about the same
Uh-huh.
there. It's just a matter of how many squares, and, there's the pitch and, some other stuff that goes into that. But, if you're talking about a 2,000 square foot house re-roof, $7,000.
Sure. Yeah, it's about industry average,
Mhm.
$7,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, you're getting into bigger houses or more, and then we arm wrestle with the insurance guys a little bit on some of that stuff.
Sure. Sure. So most weeks, could do 10 new roofs, 4 to 5.
Well, and re-roofs,
repairs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Re-roofs,
non-repairs, so
Sure.
tear-offs, re-roofs,
Sure.
new construction, there hasn't been much of that. We don't really like new construction either.
Sure.
The contractors try to squeeze every penny out of us. We like the 25-year-old roof that has 2 layers that now is leaking in multiple spots. We come in, do a tear-off, re-roof. So yeah, it's kind of a new roof to them, but yeah, not as much the new construction.
Sure, sure. So if I'm hearing you right as far as where you're at versus your capacity, man, that's potential of another 3 re-roofs or new roofs a week, another potential $21,000 in revenue a week, or
Yeah, if we could squeeze it in,
other.
yeah, and that would probably be over, I don't know, 9 months. So yeah, probably 30 weeks, because we couldn't do that every week.
Sure.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, 30 weeks, 20,000. Yeah, $600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that's about what we bill out right now. But don't forget about a bomb and insurance and all the
Sure.
issues. I mean, our advertising, our cost. We had to buy a new truck. There's always something, but our costs from 3 years ago are up a third, and we haven't been able to raise our prices a third.
Absolutely.
We've been able to raise our prices about half that. So our margins have been cut by 15%. In 2011, on a $7,000 job, we'd make a couple $1,000.
Sure.
We do not. We're lucky to make $1,000.
Sure. I'll tell you what a lot of my customers have found is that, kind of like you, that first $650,000 that you're making, you have all of those fixed expenses that you have in there that you can do nothing with. But if you had that additional 3 jobs a week and another $650,000, what most businesses are finding that second half is much more profitable.
It would be. There's some variable costs in there too, and wear and
Sure.
tear. Doing 3 on the guys. You know, and I think if we, went from 7 to 10, we would lose more guys. And maybe even have to add a guy. I said I could do a 3 crews, but add a guy, 1 to 3 guys as well, just because the wear and tear on them. It's hard work.
Sure. Ideally, is that where you'd like to be?
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting. When you put a pen to paper, and we've gone back and forth, but I would, we can definitely do more jobs. That might be more of a 2 to 3 year plan.
Okay.
To almost double our business.
Sure. What impact would that have on your business if you're able?
Oh, it'd be huge. Because I guess if we're making less money, we need to do more jobs, which is a lot more work for everybody.
Sure.
To bid the jobs, get the jobs, finish the jobs, the problems after the jobs, the cleanup.
Sure.
So when you're talking about that, those are some longer days.
Sure.
But yeah, it'd make us, we're not getting rich here. Like I said, you kind of do the math. We're looking to make $100,000 off this after paying all of our expenses.
Sure.
So but if we almost doubled or went up by $500,000-$600,000, it'd be significant.
Sure. Okay. So you're telling me more of a residential specialist.
Yeah.
I know in the past customer service is something that's always been important to you, and the customer having a good experience. Is that still the case?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you do to set yourself apart from some of your competitors as far as customer service goes?
Well, when we're bidding, we give a written estimate. We explain the estimate. We work with the insurance people, adjusters back and forth. We do all the legwork. They have problems afterwards. We're Johnny on the spot and fix it. And most guys, they get the money, they're gone. You don't ever see them again. So we kind of stand behind our work. And some of the products we use have we use more expensive shingles with longer warranty. So makes them feel better that when they're spending $7,000, this is gonna last a long time.
Sure. Now, you being the owner, are you at least involved with every job or on every job?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm on because, I'll bid the job, the guys will go, and 3 days later, they're done, and I didn't get a chance to go over and see. I'll usually go over sometime afterward and try to meet with the homeowner and, hey, everything turn out okay? So, I have an interaction at the beginning or end, usually both.
Sure.
But I'm not supervising that many jobs. I can't be in that many places at once.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay. What are some other competitive advantages? I know when we had talked before, you try to beat your competitors' pricing.
Yeah, I say that, but then there's uninsured people doing roughs.
Oh,
and
sure.
They're going to beat our price.
Sure.
So yeah, we're priced very competitive. If a roof comes in, three bids, we're going to be either middle or lowest every time. Okay. Years of experience, my dad started the company. We've been doing it 25 years. That's big, and our guys, they're rough looking, but they do one thing and do it well. Rough.
Sure.
Not many of our products leak, and jobs leak or have issues. So there's not a lot of do-overs. We don't have the profit margins to do that.
Sure.
We have a do-over or a major problem that ruins the next 3 jobs and all the money's gone.
Okay.
And I tell the guys that too.
Okay.
And so they know that, hey, maybe the boss man can't pay him.
Right. Okay. As far as trying to reach out to new customers, I know you have the marketing you do with us. What other advertising do you do right now?
The 2 other phone books drives me crazy. There's 3 phone books.
Sure.
We have a website, which a lot of people find us on that. Our trucks, we got 4 trucks, vehicle wraps, yard signs.
Mm-hmm.
We've dabbled in the newspaper with some success, not really. We do it seasonally. I like you can start and stop it, change the message every day. That's kind of nice.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. We used to, 10 years ago, we were doing full page with you guys, $2,000 a month. But we were spending pushing $100,000 in advertising, and back then doing $400,000. So we spent almost a fourth of what we in advertising just to get it.
That's a lot.
Going.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
How do you measure the success of your advertising?
You know, we try to keep an active ear, but it's kind of guesswork.
Okay.
You know, we throw an ad in the paper, hey, did we all of a sudden get a couple calls? And a lot of it people will tell us, hey, I see in this newspaper ad you're running, you know, sometimes we have an offer, sometimes it's just a specific thing.
Sure.
You know, hey, we're on the west side of Springfield, we can start your job this week.
Okay.
Hey, I know you guys are working on the west side.
Sure.
And that happens a little, but other than that, really don't know.
Sure. Okay. How would you like to know specifically how your customers are finding you, and what source they're using to be able to trace that back to your marketing?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, obviously everybody would like to know, but a lot of times there's multiple sources that influence. You know,
Right.
even you know, I know that's what my son was saying. He had some marketing class was talking about, you know, how multiple sources and stuff, even in the grocery store.
Right.
You know, the ads on the cart, the signs, the displays, the coupons, all play a factor in the buying decision.
Sure. Make it a little easier to write that check every month if you could see the return that you're
Absolutely.
receiving.
Well, or if I'm not sure, a lot of times I'll stop it and see what happens.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, I even did that with you guys a couple of years ago. You know, one guy tipped me off, but
Sure, absolutely. What about how far out do you try to reach customers? Sangamon County?
Sangamon County.
Okay.
We don't leave Sangamon County very often, and we don't want to.
Okay.
Again, with those margins, then you have guys traveling, Decatur, Jacksonville. You know, I did one job in Jacksonville this year, 2 last year.
Sure.
But you know, we're in Chatham a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We did a ton in Sherman, Verdon a couple of years ago with that hailstorm.
Right. And who is your typical ideal customer? Are you usually having husband, wife making the contact? Who's
Well, you know, so it's the homeowner, and it's usually the wife calling.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And then the husband usually comes in somewhere,
Okay.
either at the estimate. We give the estimate. Oh, I got to show it to my husband, and then he comes home from work, and we have to start all over again.
Sure.
It's kind of a pain.
Sure. Okay.
But if we can convince the wife, we'll close 7 out of 10. And that's usually what our close rate is.
That's okay.
Yeah, not of the estimates we give.
Sure.
Calls, we get a lot of wild calls, and some I say we can bid in 2. You know, we'll be out in 2 weeks, so they go away. I do that by just after all the years of experience evaluating the questions they ask, get their address.
Sure.
And I hate to be like that, but
Sure. It comes
you know,
with experience.
yeah, some of the rough neighborhoods, and you know, hey, I got one corner of this shingle. Would you come out and fix this one shingle and not charge me too much? Yeah, I'll be out there in a couple weeks. Oh, I need it fixed now. Well, you better call somebody else.
Sure. So if you can get in front of a customer, typically 7 out of 10 times you're trying
Yeah,
to
write
get
the
that
estimate.
customer.
Yeah,
Sure.
we get the majority of the estimates, not all.
Good.
Not if if they'll take the time to meet with us than most normal people. You know, I'm talking about the normal neighborhoods.
Right.
Off
Right.
Chatham Road, you know, some of the hoity-toities get goofy. I got a Panther, and then with the middle class, they're very easy to work with, and that's who, you know, we're middle class people doing roofs for middle class homeowners.
Sure. Let's say you get that call from the soccer mom. She's got a leak after a storm comes through. She's looking for somebody to come out. What are some of the things that are important to her and decide who she's gonna use to come out?
Well, how quick can you be there?
Okay.
That's in first, how quick do you answer the phone? If you don't answer the phone, she calls the next person in the phone book or online
Absolutely.
or whatever.
Sure.
And then it's how responsive does she feel you're going to be to take action on a leaky roof?
Mhm.
Because then the husband's going to get home, it rains again. Every time it rains, they're going to have issues.
Sure.
So is it going to be fixed right the first time? Are you insured so you don't sue me for people with money? Is there any kind of warranty on it? Are you gonna? And then it's more of a gut feeling from talking to you. Can they trust you
Sure.
on their roof and to come back if there's a problem?
Sure. Do you get a lot of testimonials and referrals from your existing customers?
I wouldn't say necessarily testimonials or references, but we get referrals, absolutely.
Okay.
And if we get a job in a neighborhood, odds are, we're there 2 to 4 days. We'll get another job.
Okay.
Because all of the roofs and houses are the same age
Okay.
and the same issues.
Okay.
You know, occasionally we'll drop some flyers, not very often anymore when we're in the neighborhood. Some
Sure.
people get ticked about the flyers, so.
Sure. Okay.
But they're in the truck. You know, it's just like a door hanger thing.
Okay. Well, it sounds like to me, you know, we're at right now still wanting to focus on the residential customer. You're right now doing, you know, close to 5 to 7 jobs per week as far as re-roof or new construction, 4 or 5 repairs thrown in there. Have the potential most weeks to do up to 10, which, you know, could be, as you said, another $650,000 in additional revenue overall for you. So it sounds like that would be, you know, your number one goal as far as trying to achieve being able to hit those extra 2 or 3 jobs a week. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you know, I just don't know, Brad, during the roofing season if we could get another 3. You know, that's probably a little aggressive.
Okay.
You know, you know, that might be more of a 3-year plan.
Okay.
Just to add that. I think that's too much. I'm just thinking of the guys, and you know, us losing a couple this past year, and that's, you know, the last couple of years have been hot, and they just couldn't or wouldn't do it.
Sure.
So if I'm asking the same guys, and I don't really think I want to add 3 to take the burden off, so you're probably talking about like 1 more job. So
Okay.
you probably cut that in a third.
Okay.
But I
Starting
mean,
to work towards that.
Yeah, so, you know, 150, 200 grand, I'd be thrilled with that.
Okay, great. Well, before we kind of jump into the message that your customers are seeing out there, you know, let's take a look at the market. I don't have to tell you, the Springfield area is a pretty competitive area for roofing contractors.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a bank. There's one on every corner working.
You not only have your traditional guys like yourself that have been around for a while, but you got you know, the guy that got laid off from his job that decided now he's going to be a contractor, and like you said,
well, Boraski, some of these guys that are doing all new construction, 2008 and 9. Guess what they became?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're home improvement specialists, which is part of the roof Suttons.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which was always siding and interior and room additions, but you know, 4 years ago they started doing a ton of roofs.
Sure.
They're doing a lot.
Sure. And that's why it's become so much more important for
I recognize a lot of those. Meyer, yeah, he does commercial. Sutton now, there's Sutton.
Sure,
I knew they'd be right up there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's become so much more important to make sure that not only are you being found where your potential customers are looking, because there is so much competition, but also making sure that those customers are choosing you. You're giving them a reason to choose you over all of those potential options that are out there. Now, I'm sure one of the questions that you've had, and everybody wants to know, how can I be at the top of the Google search page, right?
Oh yeah, it's like hitting a moving target.
Right, absolutely. So let me try to walk you through that, so you can.
This is plumbers.
So you can kind of let's kind of example to be able to show you how the search engines work. The top section that you see here at the top, and also on the right, those are the paid advertising. People are paying to be there. People use, I'm sure you've heard the term search engine marketing, to be able to show up there at the top, where basically you're looking at the search term that the person's using, as well as the area that they're putting in. So, like in your case, it's a search for a roofing contractor for Springfield. So
and then they're bidding on that, right?
Yes. And
whoever pays the most money.
Not necessarily the most money. I mean, that's related to being relevant to the word that they're trying to come up in. There's a lot of factors that play into it, but the search term and the geography, and having money to allocate, because the search engine do charge each time that information is showing up there. More competitive industries like yourself takes more money, because there's a lot of searches that are being done, and a lot of people vying for that same traffic.
I can see not as competitive as plumbers in DuPage.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what Chicagoland's like, I know.
Sure.
But yeah, roofing's definitely competitive.
Sure, absolutely. Now the section that is underneath of there, sometimes you see a mapping section, and then those underneath of the map, is what they call the organic listings. And those come back on an algorithm that the search engine used, a formula with a lot of factors that are involved. And it's basically your website's relationship with the search engines. And the way that that is improved is through search engine optimization, which is very different than the search engine marketing. A lot of people get the two confused. So when we're talking about search engines, the portion at the top and the right is helped with the search engine marketing, and the map and that underneath of the map, the organic results, is helped with the search engine optimization. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really realize how that worked.
Sure. It can be very confusing. Now, if we take a look at your website, how do you feel overall with your website?
You know, it's okay. You know, it's pretty basic. You know, it has our logo and tells our basic stuff, breaks out experts, emergency, that
Sure.
kind of stuff, residential, commercial. Yeah.
Have you done much updating to the site for a while?
No, it's been a couple of years, from what I remember.
Sure, absolutely. And it's just a 3-page site, right?
Yeah, it's pretty basic. Yeah, actually a friend of mine did it. And didn't charge much at all.
Well, that's nice that he helped you. And you know, in years past, it was kind of nice to have a website, but a business like yourself, you don't have a storefront for a customer come in. That's your first impression to that potential customer, and you know, you obviously want that to be, you know, a great impression, because that's how they're going to feel about your business, how you're presenting yourself to them. So when you have a website with some of the basic information, but it's outdated, and it's not organized in an easy to follow fashion, you can definitely lose some customers. You know, you mentioned that trust factor. You know, going through the website, we don't have a lot of those details in there. We don't have any, you know, pictures of examples of some before and after pictures of some of the work
That's
that
a good
you've
idea.
done.
That sounds expensive. Yeah, of putting
Well, I mean,
all
there's
that on a website.
Yeah, there's different options, but these are just some recommendations that I think can really improve the response that you get from people that are coming to the site.
I don't know why he didn't put more pictures on. I'll have to check with him.
Sure.
Let me write that down and see if he can get some before and after. I like that idea.
Sure. You mentioned referrals. Do you think you know, some of those happy customers might be willing to write some testimonials and be able to include some of those on the website as well?
Maybe. Yeah. You know, I think everybody's a little reluctant to do that, but yeah, I could definitely ask.
You ever did a search for a business and you see, you know, some positive experiences that customers had, and you know, kind of sway you one way or
like
another?
a hotel. We just got back from Florida. Yeah, as well as negatives, a couple to avoid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. The other thing that's real important that your website is missing is that it's not mobile optimized. Do you know what I mean by that? What mobile optimized means is for a cell phone or a tablet, like the iPad, so that it fits the screen, and you know, the buttons are customized for the person to use on that mobile device. Have you ever been on your phone and you've had to you know, make stuff big and small and try to click?
It drives me crazy.
Very, very difficult, and it's real important now. You know, Google's anticipating by the end of this year that the number of mobile searches are going to outnumber the number of desktop and laptop searches,
Sure.
and so it's become very important to have a mobile-friendly website. And right now, yours is not, and I think that's something that's going to detract from your results as well. People that are used to having those mobile-friendly sites, when they go there and they don't have that experience, they're more likely to click out and go and find something else.
That makes sense.
That makes sense? Okay, good. Now that we kind of looked at the aesthetics of the site, let's kind of look at how the search engines see your site.
Google, Yahoo, Bing,
and real important as far as, you know, that relationship that the search engines feel. Now, your score overall with the search engines, there is a 32 out of 100.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's not great. I mean, the higher your score, the better. I mean,
Quality Roofing has a 55. That's almost twice as good as mine.
Sure, sure. And there's some key factors that play into that. And I'm sure when your friend helped out with the design of the site, he had his best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But the back end design of that site and the way it's put together is real important.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have it organized in a fashion that the search engines are able to find and see. They send out web crawlers to look at the sites, and they're looking for very specific things as far as how the pages are labeled, how the images are labeled, and when they don't find those things, they are less likely to want to bring that website back in a search result because it's not user friendly to the people that are searching in their search engines. Does that make sense? I mean, it's kind of like you go home and open up your file cabinet and none of the files are labeled. You don't know where to find anything.
Sounds like my wife's filing system.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not very easy to use, right?
No.
That's what the search engines are looking. They're also looking for.
And mine doesn't have the labels or whatever?
Yours does not, no.
Oh.
One of the other things that's real important is having a site map, which is kind of a map for the search engines to go through to be able to find all the information on your.
Mine says yes. I have that.
It doesn't. It's not a complete map throughout, and that's why when you look at the pages indexed through the search engine, you can see Google only has 3 pages, and Yahoo and Bing has 0. So because of that, they're not finding all of your information that's out there. When you look at your score specifically with Google, you're 1 out of 10, which is very much on the low end of the scale. And typically,
So what's that mean? Score and page rank thing are low. So what's that mean? To me though.
What that means to you is that your relationship with the search engine, your website's relationships with the search engines is poor right now because of the design of the website.
So when somebody that searches my website doesn't come up as often.
That's correct. Yes, and that's why you're not seeing yourself.
Especially when I look up by name,
If you look for yourself by name, there's a good chance that you're going to find you. But the majority of people are going to be doing a search for, roofing repair, roofing contractor, Springfield, Sangamon County,
residential.
Yes.
Roofers, yeah.
When they do that search right now, you're not showing up because of these problems with your website.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
So that's the why. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not good.
No. You mentioned been in business for as long as you have. How important is your reputation within the community?
Oh, huge.
Sure, and wanting to make sure that everyone out there, when they're looking for your information, because there's so many different places that people go and find information online, you want to make sure that every time that they see the information for Top It All Roofing, it's all the correct contact information, the correct phone number, addresses. If there are reviews about your business, would you like to know about them and to make sure that they're accurate?
If they're good.
Sure. Well, one thing that you don't want to have happen is that you start showing up out there in the search engines, and then you have one of those former workers that you worked too hard and left. He went out there and wrote a bad review about your business.
No, I wouldn't like that.
It's probably not going to help your results overall, correct?
No.
So one of the things that's real important nowadays is staying on top of your reputation and your visibility online to be able to ensure that all of your information is accurate across all websites and platforms that are online, as well as staying on top of reviews. So if there is something that's negative, you can have it fixed or respond to it. Does that make sense as far as how that's important? I mean, it's kind of a changing environment.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, we all, if we were doing referrals and that, we'd go to our neighbors, talk to our friends. People don't do that anymore.
Yeah, Angie's List. Oh, believe me, I know about that stuff.
Sure, they're
What
looking
a
for
nightmare.
those things online.
Yeah, I'm not using any more of that.
Not a good experience?
No.
Sure.
Don't ask. Yeah.
Social media. I noticed that you have a Facebook page. Do you do much with your Facebook page?
No, it's out there in case somebody, and I've seen it come up before my website sometimes. But no, as you can see, do I have very many likes?
You had about 50
yeah.
likes.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at 50. I hadn't looked at that since Christmas. That tells you.
Well, I noticed that the last post that you had was from April of 2013, so
Yeah.
I figured it had,
I haven't been in
a while.
Yeah. So, Facebook, I don't feel like, people are going to spend $7,000. Now, what they hear on Facebook might at least get them to consider, but, I don't feel like they're shopping on Facebook. They're on there jacking around.
Sure. I mean, it's a place that kind of replaces, as we just talked about, where the neighborhood people used to talk, friends and family about stuff. This is kind of where they do that now. Mm-hmm. So maybe not necessarily a place where they're going
to kind of
an
online
search.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, not necessarily where they're going to search for.
This is where they go to gossip and
contractor.
Hook up with old girlfriends,
But they definitely could be out there talking about an experience that they had with a business like yourself. Somebody says, hey, the storms just came through. Anybody had any experience with
do you know a good roofer?
Yes.
Oh, I see that.
Absolutely.
And boy, do you get some weird stuff on that.
Sure.
And not just roofer, do you know a good place to get sushi?
Sure.
Some weird stuff.
Initially, a lot of people liked the idea because, they thought, well, it's something I can do myself.
It's free.
I can manage.
Yeah, that didn't cost me anything. But I don't think I've gotten any jobs either.
Sure.
That's why I haven't been in there a year and a half.
And that's the downside with the social media is you have to take an active approach to be able to reap any benefits from it. I mean, if you're not on there, several times a week and having communications and
nobody's going to come back
because
you're not offering anything.
Sure,
I get it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or do you guys sell Facebook pages or something?
Well, we're able to help our customers with their Facebook representation, and we can actually help with keeping it updated with posts related to your industry, so that we can keep those customers that already have worked with you, as well as some of those referrals informed and up to date, and help maybe catch some of those referrals that are talking about you on there as well.
Gotcha.
We mentioned the mobile devices and their importance.
That's huge.
One of the other reasons that they're so important, as you can see, 70% of mobile searches will actually call the customer when they do that.
Directly from the search.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Does that sound like the type of customer that you'd like to be in front of?
Yeah, I would think so. I think a lot of them will search, roofing, depending on the situation. If it's a true emergency, they'll call from that. If not, they do a search, leave it, come back, then go, back and forth a little.
Sure, absolutely. And, with our very fast-paced, busy lifestyles now, most people don't have a dedicated time to sit and do these type of things. Good example, this time of the year, I'm very busy with kids' football. Mm-hmm. Something comes up, the wife and I are talking about at the football game. It's on our mind now. Can you see, one of us saying, oh yeah, we need to get somebody out to look at the roof, grab our phone, do a quick search. We find a couple people and give them a call. Can you see somebody doing that?
Yeah, I think some would call. I think some do the search and then don't call because they're afraid, they're watching the game or whatever. I think it just depends on the person.
Sure.
But I know they're doing searches. It's just a matter of, how many. It sounds like, most of them call. And if it's a pizza or restaurant, small things, absolutely. Bigger things, I think, are a little bit, the fall through's a little lower.
Sure, it can be, but obviously we're talking about, obviously a different price point that goes with that.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's what drives if they act right away.
Sure.
But on repairs and the leaky roof, if they're at the football game and it's raining, we got somebody
storm
out,
coming.
and then even if it's raining then,
right.
A lot of times that's what'll prompt them to call.
Remember.
Yeah, well, can you come out now?
Right.
Which
you love that, don't you?
Yeah, well, you don't love it, I just, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times it's no.
Right.
I can't, and
right.
So sorry. I can, and it's usually 24 to 48 hours.
Sure.
And usually they get somebody to come out and rip them off because they know they're desperate.
Sure, absolutely.
Then I come out and fix it about a week later.
Now, one of the other reasons why your website's not showing up well within the search engines, is that Google actually will penalize your site when it's not mobile friendly, when it's not mobile optimized like yours. Again, because they know that a lot of the searches are coming on the mobile side, they want to encourage those businesses to have a site for the traditional laptop and desktop search as well for the mobile device. So they're going to penalize your site, and it's not going to show up near as well as a competitor that has a regular site and a mobile optimized site as well.
I'll have to ask my buddy if he can do that. Is that really hard to do you know?
Well, I mean, it's basically building a whole new site that's geared towards the mobile device. So depending on his
So the same
expertise,
URL or different URL?
it would be the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'll have to see what he says. I don't think he's going to be up for that, but
It's
I'll
probably a little more involved than when he originally built your site a few years ago.
yeah, or you would have done it the first time probably.
Sure, absolutely. Ever heard the term digital display advertising?
Nope.
Well, basically what it is, Cliff, it's a way of keeping your information fresh in front of a customer, kind of like the branding that you heard about in years past. Whenever a targeted group of customers is out doing a search, say that soccer mom's on their computer and she does some research related to manufacturers of shingles. She's looking at brand of shingles.
Oh, I'm sure she's doing a lot of that, but you never know.
Well, when they're looking, at designs and that. Whenever a customer has done a search that's related to your business and services that you provide, yes, within that geography that you're trying to target for customers, then when that customer is back out on their computer later, say they're reading the newspaper or she's looking at some magazines or on her Facebook page or whatever it is, your ad will start appearing out there on that customer's website.
Ad? You mean like my Yellow Page ad?
No, it's an actual ad designed for you that will appear out there on their site.
Like where it says your ad?
It'd be similar to
I've
these
seen
ads
those. Yeah,
here.
like on Lowe's. I'm on Lowe's website, Menards, all the time.
Sure.
Not their ads, but the other guys. Yeah, different shapes. And,
Yeah. A good example is kids going back to school, looking for shoes for them to go back to school online. Now when I'm checking my email, I got ads for the type of shoes that I was searching for that are popping up on my computer. So basically it helps keep you in front of that customer whenever they know that they've searched for a service related to yours.
It's targeted,
within your market. So that it's trying to help with that branding so that when people are thinking about roofing,
billboard,
top and all is going to come to mind for them.
Gotcha.
Your Dex Knows landing page. This is a real important page, and it's basically kind of a snapshot of your website to give the customers a quick 30-second glance of you, what you're about, why they should give you a call as far as the services.
It's not telling too much.
Well, it's what you see here is about half of the actual page as far as information, and we can walk through and make sure that we have it.
It just says welcome to Top It All, and then located in Springfield, and then we service.
Sure.
All over. Which it's okay to live Jacksonville and some of that in, but yeah.
Sure. But they're designed, one, to be search engine friendly in the way that search engines are looking for them, and they're also designed to encourage a call or contact from that customer, which obviously is what you're wanting. You're telling me once you have a chance to get in front of that customer, you're really good at turning them into a paid customer. So you and I together will walk through this page and make sure that we have your complete message put together to maximize those results for you. Okay. Now, your print ad, over the years, I know we have tweaked it a little bit, made some changes. Haven't made in the last couple of years, and I think that's something important. That we stay fresh within what the customers are looking for. What about your ad? Do you like?
Yeah, I like the colors. I think it's there's a lot in there. It's easy to read. We're talking about one call does it all. The top it all kind of flows together. Letting roofing experts protect your home. Yeah, I've had people call about that, say, hey, I know you do 24-hour repairs. They could have picked that up off our card. So, over 40 years experience, senior citizens, there's just a lot of good information in there, I think. What do you think? You're the expert.
Sure.
I just like, certain things because I'm a roofer.
Well, I know over the years we've tweaked and changed some things. We actually use a scorecard to kind of relate how the print ads, how effective they are, and it's based on criteria that we know that potential customers are looking for when they're searching on what has the best effect on them overall. So with yours, I agree that has some good factors. I think one of the areas that we could definitely have a better impact is the call to action. Right now we have call today.
Yeah.
Really doesn't.
What would you put instead?
Well, I mean, you said you're pretty fast in getting back with the customer. You had the experience for many years. What about call now to speak to one of our roofing experts?
I don't think that's going to fit in there.
Call. Well, I mean that's something we can play around with the design. But what we're looking for, Cliff, is when that customer comes into your ad, we want them to stop and take action. We don't want them to read yours and then go on to the next guy. So we want to give them a strong reason to give you a call, something that sets you apart from your competitors.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that would be one thing.
Okay. I think also the image that we have, you look through the other ads in the book, everybody's got a picture of a roof in there. What do you?
Well, and that's not even a roof, that's the whole house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that image could be used in 20 different places in the book. What about a picture of you going up and greeting a customer at their door, maybe having an estimate book in your hand, so that customer can kind of envision
like pointing at the roof or something.
Coming out.
Otherwise they may not get it, but I see what you're saying.
Sure. So they can kind of envision who's coming out to see them. They feel more comfortable with that contact. And I think it's going to support your message a little better than a generic picture of a house.
So would you take the picture? Would I give you a picture?
Actually, I can come out and take a picture for you.
Today would be great. Perfect weather, because otherwise, not too long, it's going to be. We're coming.
Absolutely, and having that image of yourself in there helps create a more personal relationship, with that customer, more personal connection with them, as opposed to just a generic stock image.
Well, it's more, it's me, and it's more customized to my business now.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the other things I know in years past you had mentioned that sometimes you can offer some flexible payment options. Is that something that you're still doing? Because we don't really talk about that much.
I still do it. It doesn't seem to be as important because, like I said, the economy's getting better. But yeah, it's something I still do.
Because I think the easier that we can make it for a customer to do business with you, the more likely they are to want to contact you. So I think maybe including some of those payment options in there as well.
Yeah, it's flexible payment options or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, the credit cards are important. If we're going to improve that Facebook page and make sure that that's relevant. I think making sure that we have the relevant links to your Facebook page, and also giving them a reason to visit your improved website. So we got some great before and after pictures. We have some testimonials, a website that you're proud to get in front of those potential customers. We want to try to drive some traffic to that website as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, depending on what it's going to cost. Yeah.
Sure. But that website's going to be able to tell even more of your story than what we can fit in this one single ad. So if we can get more people to that site, I think that's going to be that much more beneficial to you as well.
Then they call, then I write the estimate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think those are a couple things that minor tweaks, and you would be amazed with a few tweaks here and there, what the difference that they can make, and the response that you get from customers within the ads themselves. Run through the scorecard. So, I mean, I know I've kind of ran through a lot of information with you real quick, and hopefully, enough that in a way that you could follow and not too confusing. I'm sure you're probably asking yourself, what does this have to do, with you at Dex, and why am I going to use Dex to try to help me with all of these areas that I need to improve in? And I kind of explain that in two ways. One, I know we traditionally came from being the print company, but as your business has evolved over the years, ours has done the same thing. We've taken great strides to be a leader in the online arena. One of the things that we've done is we're one of 16 companies in the United States that's a premier partner with Google with the small to medium businesses. Of those 16, we're one of the largest partners that we have. So the reason that's important for you, Cliff, is those problems that you have with your website and also the search engine marketing that we talked about. We work directly with them. They share with us the ways that they want the information. So we're able to convey that back to them so that your information shows up very high within the search engines. Do you think it does you very good to show up on page 2 or 3 in a search result?
No, page 1, top,
absolutely
on the map. That's where you want to be. Yeah,
absolutely. So we have that, and we also for search engine optimization. Remember that map section in the organic results. To make sure that our customers are going to show up well for the search engine optimization, we've partnered with the second best search engine optimization company in the U.S., Boostability. And because of that partnership, we ensure that our customers have the very best representation with their information online. We are able to take those problems that you have with your site, those labeling of the pages, your fixing your site map, the images.
So you're saying you would do it instead of my buddy and make it show up on phones and...
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think your buddy has better experience and knowledge on how to do that optimization, or the second best company in the United States?
Well, no, I just think I like his price tag, though.
Well,
let's put this, I paid him $150 to build that site. And I know he lost money, and that's probably why we haven't done much with it since, because,
Sure, absolutely. And I think, that's fine as a beginning point several years ago. Obviously, the internet and the importance of being found online has changed over the years. And so that's why I think that would be in a real important area for us to look at for you.
Okay.
So with all of the stuff that we talked about, all the search terms, I know it can be really confusing with the SEO, the SEM, the social media, reputation management. All that can be very confusing. What I'm trying to do for you, Cliff, is to simplify that, to help you be found where your customers are searching for you. Once you're found there, I want you to be chosen over your competitors. And then I want you to be talked about, not only by your existing customers, but by their friends and their families and the people that they know, so that can lead to more customers for you down the road. I know we walked through a lot of different options. As you kind of look at, for instance, being found, what would you say would be some of the top priorities for you as far as making sure that those are fixed?
Well, I think that search engine marketing, the Google thing, was pretty interesting. I didn't really understand that display brand, but I don't think that's, I want to keep my print ad. I think some of your ideas on changing that sound good. Maybe that optimization, but this sounds like a lot more money than I'm spending now, Brad. And I'll look at some options, but you start giving Google money and giving you guys money, and I know we're talking thousands of dollars.
Well, I'll make it this deal. If it's something that doesn't make sense for the direction that you're wanting to go with the company, it's not going to cost you a single penny. What I'm trying to do is put together some ideas that's going to help you get your information in those 3 places that you told me you want to be, that you want to be where you want to be, so that you're found, and that you're going to be chosen when you're found, and so that people are going to continue to talk about you. And then making sure that when we talked about helping you get that at least one extra job per week, the $150,000 for the year. So I'm trying to help you get to where that is an easy no-brainer idea for you. So if I can put together some ideas that's going to help with the search engine marketing, the search engine optimization, improve your website, improve your print ad, to help you get to that point where you're getting.
So I'll get more jobs.
Yes.
And then it helps pay for the advertising and.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You know, the website on that chosen part definitely has to be a mobile. That's for sure.
Sure.
Video, yeah. You know, I want to check with my buddy and kind of compare, you know, see what his thoughts are, and then, you know, if you want to do some things on websites, Facebook, I'll have my daughter start messing with that, the digital presence. Yeah, the rest of that stuff I don't care about, but yeah, that search engine marketing and optimization, keep my print ad, get a website that's mobile and comes up a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And if you hey, I can make $150,000. I don't know if that'll do that for me in Springfield, but I'd look at it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Cliff. Let me take a couple days, put together some ideas based on what you shared with me that I feel can help you get to that point, adding that extra job per week, that $150,000 in revenue per year. Let's get back together, talk about it, see if it's something that makes sense for you going forward, and then kind of work from there.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cliff.
Yep.